we were just talking offline, and you said we haven't hit rock bottom on a lot of the cell phone surveillance in this country. Mm-hmm. Rock bottom. What would be Nate Jones's walk-up music?
Oh,
like,
man.
His intro music. Like, if you got rock bottom for The Rock and the glass shattering for Stone Cold.
That's your segue?
Yep. He was so proud of himself. Well, Nate's a big wrestling guy.
Yeah, I'm a big wrestling guy. Man.
Because you're back on the pod. We got to get you your entrance music.
I would do something. Honestly, I would want to come out like as a nightmarish figure, like some kind of, like
Undertaker-esque?
Like Undertaker. But honestly, the thing that got me back into the two things that got me back into wrestling after 20 years when I was bored during the pandemic is Roman Reigns, who's obviously that's been the big story for wrestling fans know what I'm talking about for the last half decade, and then this character called the Fiend, and it was a brilliant concept idea. It was it's basically like creating like a Freddy Krueger type character for wrestling, and they had the whole pomp and circumstance and everything around it. I thought that was the coolest shit. So like if I could pull something off like that, I think I would do that.
Well, I don't know if you saw this, but for our pregame show on the Blazers for the season opener, we had to like build in extra time for the intros, the player intros on opening night, because now they did like a whole stage and like entrance. One by one, every player on the roster is announced, and like Dame comes out, and Denny Avdia comes out, and Rob Williams III comes out. And I was like, oh, they're jacking up the pomp and circumstance and the pageantry way more than I ever imagined, because they listened to our show, I'm guessing. Everyone listened in the NBA to Nate Jones talk about bringing back the pageantry of the NBA. And suddenly this year, pageantry's everywhere, Nate. Congratulations.
Yeah, I am not going to pat myself on the back because I know that I'm not the only person that's number one. I'm not not the only person that's been saying the same thing. It's pretty obvious. Like that is, to bring it back to WWE, like if you take pomp and circumstance away from the WWE, like what you don't, a lot of like what people go to these events and watching for is that. And I believe it or not, basketball fans, there are people that watch for that. They want that vibe. They want that feeling. And the way I kind of look at it is like, it's the preheat, you're warming up to, the main event, and all of it is important. And the fact that stuff has kind of been, cut short, it makes stuff not feel as big, it doesn't feel as big is really what it comes down to.
Well, Nate, I think NBC, for its part, knocked it out the park with their first week of coverage between the national broadcast and, the over-the-air broadcast and Peacock.
Peacock, yeah.
I felt like they sat there for 2 years and just took notes. Just took notes about all the things that the current broadcast was lacking. There must have been an immense temptation to say, oh, let's just do it like we did it 25 years ago. And that wouldn't have been the right answer either.
No.
So they found a way to make nostalgia modern, to put the roots that are so clear in that, 2000 and before, 2001 and before era, but like make it appetizing for a modern audience. And I
think they created lore. They created lore with Michael Jordan in ways that younger audiences are like, oh, that's the reason why Michael was that. Like, they created the story aspect to it.
But Tom, you know what they did? As I'm figuring out in my head, what they did is they didn't do. Look how much better everything used to be. Mm-hmm. Oh, this shit sucks now. What they did was they kind of like, hey, have you ever seen this? And it's like, it's just almost like a just, hey, you want to try this? To try to take a taste of this or whatever. And it allowed that to flow and color kind of the rest of their coverage, where it's like, we're doing modern things, but remember this? Even the music, they didn't use the same music. They adjusted the music a little bit. And to my ear, it's like, oh, I just wish it was the old school.
They have two versions. He modernized it, and then they play the classic one. So they play them at different. I think when it broadcasts on over the air,
it's the original,
and then on Peacock you get like a little remix.
The little remix, yeah.
I think he nailed it. There's a whole difference between being like Michael Jordan was great, and these guys suck, and they don't care, and they whatever. To doing what NBC did, and I honestly like what Amazon's doing too. Like,
oh, I love that. Yeah.
Like it's very obvious to me that, and I haven't heard this from anyone directly, but it's very obvious to me that Silver and the NBA said to these folks, like, stuff's getting stale. We want it to be this way. And I gave, I put on Twitter that, like, Silver did a great job with the television deal. Like, he got too hungry. People are complaining, oh, we're not going to have TNT anymore. They got two new, fresh, hungry broadcast partners that want to come in and look at ways that that broadcasting could have been done much better. And then the best part of TNT, we still have, and it helped improve the worst part of ESPN.
It's crazy because I feel badly for everyone who works for Turner who's now kind of left in the wind.
Yeah.
But for the layperson, for the regular fan, like, I just care about what I see on TV. It's like, what did you love about TNT? I love the inside guys. Well, they're still on. What else did you love? I love Stan Van Gundy. Well, he's still on. He's just on a different network. What? Like, you start naming the names, like, oh, Taylor Rooks and Chris Haynes. Like, yeah, they're all still working. They basically picked off the carcass of TNT of all the things that people, I guess the regular layperson would claim to like or would name, and they're just living elsewhere. And as I said, NBC does a great job of the nostalgia play, and Amazon is kind of like, this is the future.
Yeah, it's the future, and you're getting. It felt like all of the basketball, obviously, inside the NBA stood out just because, like, the way they produced that show and the personalities on that show. But it felt like all the rest of the basketball coverage was the same. You just got into, like, these debates, and it was breaking news, and, like, that was it, right? And there was, I mean, even during games, you go to halftime, and they're talking about, like, news that has nothing to do with the game. So it's basically like, yeah, the game is a throwaway. We're just here to break news and debate. Like, that's it. And I feel like Silver emphasized in this new deal that shit's got to change.
I want to say the head of NBC Sports didn't talk about it in terms of a conversation with the NBA, but definitely talked about, we want our coverage to skew more positive.
Yeah.
To accentuate the good things about the game rather than complain or put the game down. And that's something that I know we talked about, Nate, in many of your past appearances. Like, Adam Silver needed to do a better job of playing the David Stern role of, like, hey, motherfucker, like, don't get it twisted. We can change this right up, and you can easily not be broadcasting these games. And I don't, like I said, I don't know if that conversation happened, if it happened more subtly than the way Stern would have done it, if it happened at all. But all I know is the new broadcast partners seem to be carrying that ethos with them.
I would bet a lot of money that it had happened more subtly than what David Stern would have said. There would have been a lot of MF bombs in David Stern's message if he was upset. But I think it's what I've heard is that the league office and Silver in particular has he's off the this league stuff. Like, he's like, oh, we listen to these, like, I know all of us have had we have prominent followings. There are, conversations on Twitter, but he's like, I'm done listening to what these people say that we should have on Twitter. Like, really everything should be based around the games and basketball and that part of it, not all this other stuff. And you can still be different and younger and hipper without, I feel like Dr. Evil saying I'm cool, I'm hip, but and hipper without like getting away from the basketball. Like if you look at Amazon's setup and like everything's casual. All the guys are like from the generation right before this for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And, but they're not like, they're just talking basketball. It's just hoop.
Yep.
Like they're not getting into all that other stuff, which is, I think, what made the NBA and the games itself feel less important.
It's almost like when you get older and you try roasted broccoli or roasted vegetables and you're like, I didn't know this shit could taste good. Like I grew up with steamed veggies my whole life, and you throw it in the microwave, frozen veggies, and you get it out of the bag, pry it open, and the steam comes out, and then it just tastes terrible. And then you associate vegetables with that. But then, like, you grow up and you try this little olive oil, and you get some salt and pepper, maybe throw some lemon juice on that broccoli, and you throw it in the oven, and then it comes out, and you're like, I love vegetables. I had no idea it could taste this good. In the same way that when you're watching these guys break down the film on a court and UD's got the iPad out there and they're showing pick and roll coverages and Blake Griffin's jumping out there and be like, hey, one thing you have to remember, you got to sprint to go get that screen, set that screen, and then sprint to the right. And you're like, oh, they really care about this stuff, and it's informative and it's fun. And there's Taylor in the corner and Chris Haynes is doing that pass out. I loved it. I loved it. And I didn't realize, like, I always had this thing in the back of my mind is like, do fans really want the X's and O's? But maybe it was we were just giving them steamed veggies outside the microwave.
Yeah. Also, when you're watching someone go through pick and roll coverages in a full suit, like that might not necessarily come off the way it needs to. You know what I'm saying? So like I feel like they've tailored, no pun, they tailored their whole broadcast, not broadcast, but their studio show around trying to convey the game in a way young people will attach themselves to.
This is the juncture where, again, I say you're welcome. Because there was a guy, when everyone else was suits and hard bottoms, like they were going to a funeral, there was a guy who was wearing bomber jackets and Jordans.
Carmelo Anthony?
Well, it was a little bit before Carmelo Anthony. Maybe a decade or so before Carmelo Anthony.
Oh. You talking about Nick DePaula?
Relax. Relax. I'm talking about someone who didn't come in, who didn't parachute in from Portland or wherever he lives.
Yeah, Portland. So if you're the sneaker king, you gotta live in Portland.
Yeah. Nah, man. Like I remember people were like, "You got to dress up," and I'm like, "Why? Like, why? What are we doing here?" I'm not talking about the invasion of Iraq or whatever. Like, I'm talking about basketball. So,
well, I don't know. There is. All right, I'm curious. I mean, Nate, do you think like coaches not wearing suits or reporters not wearing suits, do you think it delegitimizes the prestige, or do you think that's okay? Nate, I'll go with you because I just heard a means take.
I think it should be windowed, like the broadcast guys at the table, suited like that, it seems, because that is like the game and it's serious, right? You're watching the game, you're watching the game, they're broadcasting the game. That makes sense. Having Noah Eagle,
totally agree.
Right? Like that makes sense. But the studio show, the studio show is basically supposed to be like, the eye of the fan with like expertise layered over it. Like that's the way you kind of have to look at it. It's more like the boys or the girls or whatever hanging out and shooting the shit and explaining things in ways on a little higher level so fans can understand them and connect with them. The game itself, that's the serious stuff. So
classes in session.
Yep.
Yeah.
I to this day, I'm still a big fan of the coaches wearing the quarter zip and the coaches all dressed in alike. I love it. I hope we never go back, because it turned into almost like a distraction, man. Like some of these coaches were more concerned about what they're wearing and stuff and being seen in a certain way. Then you got like the other assistant coaches on the bench who aren't making nearly as much money as the bigger names. So they're just piecing together some men's warehouse.
For sure.
off the rack stuff. And so with the uniformity, which we always did at Summer League, with the staff polo. Now it's bled over into the regular season and the playoffs. The uniformity basically gives credibility to all the coaches. I think in the eyes of the players, they're not looking at this broke ass with his ill-fitting suit or whatever. Everyone's kind of dressed. That's what, I don't want to call it authority, but like that's what the grown-ups are dressed like.
Oh, I love this. Amin, do coaching staffs have a shoe deal, Nate? Because I saw JJ Redick last night after like watching the game.
Yeah,
I was like,
he loves Common projects. He wears broken and Common projects.
Do we know how that stuff gets
No, I know he
decided, like what this coaching, is it the head coach or is it like the shoe deal that the team had or the sponsor? Like that is really interesting.
No, they don't have it. They don't, the NBA, they'll try to sell off everything. So, maybe that'll come one day, but for now, the coaches just decide what they wear. But what will happen is you'll have guys that have had, sneaker relationships their entire, like either their playing career or they were a college coach that had a connection with a sneaker company. So they'll continue to wear that. You'll see them wearing those on the sideline.
Oh, the one guy who's the lone wolf wearing the Nikes instead of everybody else on the coaching staff is wearing Adidas.
Because the other thing is like when you work for a team, like they give you a spend. Like you get the Nike spend and like, okay, I can get stuff. And anytime you go to Portland or Memphis, you go to the employee store and they can just ship it. And so there's a bunch of shit that you just have available just by being on the staff. But if you're doing the JJ Redick thing, it's like then that takes it a higher level. Some guys also, depending on how influential they are, they will buy the shoes for everybody.
Yeah, I've got a story. I don't think I'm talking out of turn here. So, this is the first like star guy I've had play for Doc, and I started to hear stories about Doc, how he's like, he wants all this free shit. Like, he's like, dang, your shoes came out. Where are mine? Like, he's on that. So I think they all, they know the game. They know how to get what they get what they need.
Nate, I want to ask you about, I think you had a tweet recently that said the shoe of the year is the SGA 1. Is that right?
Yeah,
what is
basically, so Complex has, if Complex Media, they have kind of put a stranglehold over sneaker culture, and it's smart what they've done. Complex Con is between music, fashion, sneakers, culture. They've got it. It's kind of the convention of all that. And what they've done to cap the weekend is not the versus battle between No Limit and Cash Money, which was big culturally, but it was they have this thing called the Sneaker of the Year. They ranked the 10 best sneakers from whatever year. So they did 2025. And the reason I posted that was a follow-up to what I said before that, which was, if you're going to have a Sneaker of the Year list filled with shoes that were designed 25 to 40 years ago, just call it the colorway of the year list. Like, because like half the list is just retro Jordans, like not even like more than half the list. It's just retro Jordan, Nike. And there's tons of new, I think, especially the last like couple of years, there's been a lot of like new dope shoes coming out. And no one's like, because it's not really looked at from like a casual perspective yet. I guess you could say Shea, maybe the AU1 could hit a little bit on the casual side, especially the Shea 1. But like it's almost like that stuff gets ignored. So all we're doing is debating new colorways for shoes that have been around for forever. But yeah, I think the Shea was like, it was a step forward with a basketball shoe that looked, I'll give Adidas credit with the AE1 and just like what they've done with all the new, it's like design language. Like fans online will be like, oh man, all their shoes look kind of similar. I'm like, that's the whole point. Like they defined a design language that looks different than everybody else's out there. And then Converse with Shea, and I think Shea, like the concept and the idea came, like he sketched it out originally, supposedly, right? It looks so different than anything else that's out there, and it looks like you could wear it. Like he wears it casually all the time.
You know what it looks like?
What?
The first thing I thought when I saw it, those are the Iversons.
Yeah.
It
It does have that Iverson feel, but it feels more like luxury and fashionable than that. Like I think you're talking about it because it has that zip ups, like the
zipper.
Yep. But also like the silhouette, you know, as that Iverson shoe. I think wasn't quite low, but it was closer to low than it was mid. And it had that zipper on the front, and it looked kind of the same. Obviously, the color schemes are different. The Iverson's was much more of a 2000s basketball shoe, you know.
Yes, he's going with like the almost like the Kanye tones with the shoe and the colorway story and all that stuff. So, but I love it. I think I am so happy. You know what was happening for years was everyone tried to copy. It's almost like Nike set stuff up, and I think really the Nike design language has been driven by like the Kobe low structure for the last decade plus, and then everyone else tried to be like a knockoff of what Nike was doing with their stuff and their design language. And now finally the last few years you started to see people like take a different route with their design language, that this is, we're Converse and this is how we differentiate ourselves, what we stand for. We're Adidas basketball and this is how we differentiate ourselves. This is what our you're going to look at one of our shoes and know it's an Adidas basketball shoe immediately.
Attention, player haters and overrated disbelievers of all kinds. I stand before you today 10 toes down as the bearer of bad news. Y'all done fucked up. I mean, you saw what happened last season, right? Led the league in threes as a dunker. Now I know what y'all gonna say. There's a certain two-guard, not named Anthony Edwards, who's all the rage right now. I can't deny it. He's doing his thing. But he's lucky his game is as smooth as his little poems, because them shoes, no thank you. The game left that brand behind for a reason. What else we bringing back? Cigarettes in the locker room? Then I could play. But I digress. Back to Ant. This young man, the one who made your favorite hooper's favorite hoop shoe, he didn't just upgrade. He evolved. Don't believe me? Fine. Stupid is free.
I ain't gonna lie, that was hard, Cat. Ain't you forgetting something, though?
Ah, yes. This boy here is the truth. Believe that.
Nick, can you get me up to speed on this AE1 ad campaign going at Shea, subtweeting him, and what your thought is on, is this good for marketing? Is that there's going to be like a little bit of a little diss track going back and forth on this?
So there's two things on it. Number one, I like the general concept of this is Anthony Edwards' personality and this is how he is, and he talks shit, and then and they're trying to keep it culturally relevant by bringing in someone like Cat Williams that we know he does the same thing and he's supporting Anthony and all that stuff. But the interesting thing to me is going at the guy that just was he's got a dope shoe that might be better than Anthony Edwards' second shoe. I think the first Anthony Edwards was really great. I think the 2 is good, but not as good as the first one. And the Shea is just to me, it's just it's an outstanding final product. And then he's just won MVP, championship, finals MVP, and you're going at him. And there's all these other guys, and maybe they've got stuff in the can that we haven't seen yet, but there's all these other guys that he could be going after. I would have almost avoided that aspect of it, because it's almost like people are going to go look at the Shea shoe and be like, damn, that's dope, right? And the guy that just did all that stuff that I listed is wearing it. So I like the general concept. I don't know if I would have made him the target, because you got Book, who Anthony Edwards can say I'm better than right now, no doubt about it. You got Ja Morant, who was supposed to be the the guy, and Anthony Edwards kind of came and took his mantle. Like if you think about what Ja represented as that like highlight machine, the person that would say whatever was on his mind, Anthony Edwards has kind of done it in a better package, right? Like, and the Ja is kind of coming after Anthony Edwards' lane with the shoe. Like the new Ja 3, I think, is really taking a lot of the sneaker buzz right now. Those are two guys I would have went after. Like,
but isn't that kind of Ant's personality though? Is that he's gonna go at the king?
It is. But I'm also, I'm looking at it like, dude, you do not want to be drawing attention to, what do you call it? Oh, damn. And I forgot they beat his ass in the conference finals too.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like it. It's punching up, not punching down. The two options you suggested are not really competitors for Ant, right? Ant carries himself a little higher pedigree. So
in the sneaker game, they are.
Okay.
In the sneaker game, they are. Like because I'm thinking about it. I think y'all are thinking about it from like a player personality strategy. Like what can you say about you can't that is not working on Shea. Like there's no one that's gonna be like, damn, Anthony Edwards was right about what he said. Like his shoe's whack. No, his shoe is not whack. Like people are gonna look at the shoe and be like, it's not fucking whack. Book, like I would say that was the guy that like the two guys I listed, Ja and Book. Like Anthony Edwards basically took their lane. Like, best shooting guard, and then the guy with the personality and the highlights, right? Like, those are the two, whatever. Shea's got his own lane and is on his, Ant hopes to be that level of player one day. And his shoes are dope. So I just didn't, I was like, y'all do it for everybody else. And people would have got a laugh and like got it. And they could have roasted Book shoes and been like, oh, it's just a rehash or something that it's just an Air Force One or whatever it is, like rehashed, or they would have done a bunch of different things. Like all these people are easy to chop down, and it would have like, how the internet is. They're all bullies at the end of the day. Like there is no bullying. There's no bullying Shea. Like from everything that I list, what are you going to say? What, even the stuff that he was roasting him about.
Being a two guard. I thought that was
writing
intentional.
Poetry.
People, fans think all the stuff Shea does is dope. So I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like trying to go, not to say that Shea's of like Michael Jordan's level, but it's like trying to roast Michael Jordan in a commercial.
It's like, hey, he sticks his tongue out when he drives to the basket and dunks it really high. It's like, yeah, that's what makes him kind of cool.
Well, speaking of roasting Michael Jordan, Nate.
Yeah.
Everybody is saying that his insights to excellence, his 3-minute clip of his 2-hour conversation that they pre-recorded, that it's great. Now I'm turning to you, Mr. Pageantry, our terrifying WWE demon. I looked up the guy, the Fiend that you referenced. It kind of looks like a Urukai mixed with Pennywise the Clown. That's the aesthetic you're looking for here.
Yeah, it's unique, and it's in wrestling they call them attractions. They're not necessarily the person you put on every single night, but you're coming there to see that experience in that show. Undertaker towards the end of his career was an attraction. You would see him at WrestleMania and one other event or whatever, and it was going to be a spectacle, and people would pay a lot of money to see that.
Well, what did you think of the spectacle of Insights to Excellence and the Michael Jordan series that will be ongoing?
I think this is what I'm seeing NBC do is try. I think Amin hit this on the head really well. They're trying to merge the old with the new. And Michael Jordan has always been like this mythological figure. And now, obviously we saw The Last Dance, but people that are watching the games get to get a little bit of, here's the Michael Jordan lore. Right. And so you're connecting the old to the past. But I think people's expectations were set really high. Right. Like, I know you guys dispelled this rumor as you always do. But there was someone that put out a fake news story about that Michael Jordan wants to come out and say things to defend this newer generation and whatever else. And I'm like, where did that come from? Right. And Amin called that out like right away and tracked down where the post came from. It was just made up. Right. Everyone ran with it. I think that has kind of been driving the expectations around what he was going to do. And it's obvious it was just going to be a little segment of him, getting into his thoughts and whatever else.
Yeah, I think the real tell was that next week, coming up, Michael Jordan on load management. I was like, yeah, you're not going to get the pro current NBA group from Michael Jordan. You're just not. And I don't think people want that. Like, I think part of what makes Shaq and Charles so alluring to people is they give their honest opinion about things. They're authentic. They'll tell you how it is. But the NBA is like, hey, we can have that, but we also need people praising and embracing and building up today's game, because this is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. I think Michael Jordan wouldn't be authentic if he was just like, yeah, LeBron is better than me and Steph is by far a better shooter than Larry Bird. I don't think we want that.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever. That's just, I don't. Like we've all heard the real unfiltered Michael Jordan stories, but what I did really, really like about what he said is Michael always understood the importance of being the king and being the face of the league and the weight that carries and why you should care. At the end, he says, I'm doing this because he's like, I don't need the money. I don't need the attention. I am just trying to do my part to give back to the game. And he always understood that. I remember going back to the suits debate, but I read a story about him post-career in Cigar Aficionado magazine. I think I was sitting in like a doctor's office or something like that, reading this story in like 2005. And he's like, people don't recognize the weight I carried trying to, make sure that I reflected, projected this image that was beneficial to the league and my partners and whatever else. It's like, I would be exhausted after a game. And there'd be people on my team that would be wearing sweats or whatever on the bus or on the plane. And I would put a suit on every single time because I knew that this might be the first and only time that someone would meet Michael Jordan. And I wanted to project that everything that everyone had put into me, I wanted to project out because the league had given me so much. And when he said that on the show the other day, I completely believed. I believe that's really what he thinks. And the money that the guys make now, and I'm not dissing all players. There's a lot of players that get it and understand it. It's almost like people forget what led up to them making the money that they make. It took guys like MJ pouring into and respecting all the stuff that they had to do, all the stuff that seems lame or, whatever else now, like, oh, I don't have time for that. Or why would I do that? I don't have to do that. Now, if every player did that back in, 30, 40 years ago, would the league be what it is today? And I think sometimes when you just are coming into something that's been built for you, you take things for granted. It's almost like a titan of business passing down his business to his son. It's like the succession thing, right? Like they don't get it. They just won't get it because they didn't experience it. You know what I'm saying? Everything got handed to them versus I understand what went into making this become what it is.
A league full of Roman Roys. I love that.
Yeah.
Do you think the NBA has a opportunity here or a challenge, maybe one and the same, with so many international guys being as good as they are? Because you've been out here since day one, obsessed with Nikola Jokic's game and his just how good he is as a basketball player. But I could tell you were early to that block when a lot of people wouldn't bring themselves to believe that Nikola Jokic was that guy, was the man. And now we got Victor Wembanyama. And now we got Shai Gilgeous. He's Canadian. He went to Kentucky. But it is a very much the face of the league conversation is made up of guys who did not grow up here in the United States, that we did not grow up watching. So do you think that can be spun into a positive for the league? Or do you think it is something they really have to figure out a plan?
Yeah, I'm not going to say that I saw from day one in Jokic. I think once I saw his competitiveness and he like really got into shape, that's when I was like, oh, this dude is an absolute killer. I was skeptical at first because I was just like, oh, he just doesn't seem like he cares. This is like pre 2020. I was like, yeah, he's really talented. He's really, really skilled. But I wasn't like, oh, he's going to be the best player in the world. And then there's like something that clicked with him. And I was like, dude, this dude is a demon. Like, he does everything amazing. And then he has the best touch I've ever seen, like lane touch I've ever seen. People say Hakeem. I'm like, I don't know, man. You need to go back and like Jokic paint touch is absolutely amazing.
So marketing Jokic is I think we've done it on this show.
It's possible. They did the hotels commercial like 2 seasons ago. Like he did the commercial for what's the Despicable Me. Like he played into it. It's possible, but people have to. Part of the problem with marketing today is it's all about trends, right? Like they don't want to do the work to do the storytelling around a particular player. They're just like, oh yeah, this is what's trending on social, so we're just going to do this and run with this, and like versus actually doing the work to do storytelling and build someone up. Like there's funny people, there's creative writers that can figure out how to make you get excited for a Jokic commercial. It's not, right? Like that exists, but I think people are just like, oh, it's easier just to go with this is what's trending. Now I can like support it with the metrics, and I'm not going to get fired for doing a commercial with this person. I mean, I'll give you the perfect example. Penny Hardaway does not have like I think reminisce about him having some like crazy engaging personality. And he was like,
he's not Anthony Edwards out here.
No, at all. They used Chris Rock to be his personality. He was his alter ego. And that's how they built it up. Like, I mean, even Kevin Durant, when we worked with Kevin on the agency side, when I was working with him, like, 15 years ago, we had, we used tools and things to get his personality out there. Like now he's like grown into who he is, and he has no problem showing his personality. But I mean, we did this campaign called The Superstar Next Door, where we faked out the internet and made people think Kevin was getting stalked by his neighbor, and it was just a kid that was like supposed to be a window into his world. So there's creative ways to like get people
tap into it.
Yeah, there is. It just takes real effort into that. And I think now today, everyone's mantra is like, what do I got to do to not get fired? And that's what's cool. Going back to that Anthony Edwards campaign, that's what's cool about what Adidas did, how they shifted. I mean, they used to just it was like the same stories over and over and over again. It's like, oh, repackaged for another athlete. And now they've kind of, with this hit, you've seen like, oh, if we tailor this to the athlete's personality, and we don't have to do the whole like typical hood to hero story that, you see over and over and over again. It's like, yeah, we know they came from a tough environment, bro. Like, you don't have to, like doing the little sob story, whatever, like, oh, everybody was against me. Like, okay, we get it. Like Anthony Edwards, you could have done the same exact thing with him, but it just wouldn't have hit as hard. They figured out how to do a creative spot that just elevated his personality.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is I thought that they're doing with Anthony Edwards the exact opposite of the micro trends technique, because there's a narrative that's developed over a course of a couple of years here with the aesthetic of the orange background and the receipts commercial. I remember all of that. I actually look forward to Anthony Edwards commercials.
And you know exactly what it is right when it comes. Right when because you've been conditioned, you're like, oh shit, like I see that yellow. I mean, that orange background, like that peach for it's a subtle. It's a subtle, but not so subtle nod to him being from Georgia, right? Like there was a lot of thought put into this, like, and it shows you. It's not like they're spending a ton of money. It's just other than if you're getting cameos like Cat Williams, but it's just a peach background. And like it's the studio shots, but it's the storytelling that's made it compelling. And they've been bold with it. So, but I think a lot of times what I've run into over the years, not just with the sneaker companies, but with a lot of the brands, is they just have everyone is playing not to lose. No one's taking swings. And I get it. The people are worried about their jobs, and they also often are. so crazy to think about, but the audience isn't necessarily the consumer. Like a lot of people in the ad world are working to get their next job. So they want to get published in Ad Age and whatever else for this campaign it's did this and it was, whatever it is, right? But it didn't hit on what they were supposed to hit on. It's just the creative community loved it. So you run into that a lot too, where people have decided exactly what they want to do because they had this vision and it doesn't even fit the athlete or the personality that they're talking about.
Nate, is Wemby appointment viewing now? I think he's here. I think I am always looking at when are the Spurs going to be playing, and I'm wondering if the average fan or sports fan has Wemby, do you think, crossed over into I need to see what this dude does next? In the same way that Caitlin Clark or Tiger, we're not quite at that level, but I feel like people in my NFL fans and my buddies back home, they're now in the group chat being like, holy, did you guys see what Wemby did tonight?
Yeah, they should have loaned him to the Lakers for a year, and then we'd be off to the races. This is just for the benefit of the league. We're giving him to the Lakers for 1 year only as an attraction, and then now,
that's disrespectful to New York, Nate. Let him be a Knick,
or whatever, whoever it is, the Knicks or one of those damn teams. But yeah,
wait, was it? Yeah, did Men in Black? Didn't they go to New York at the U.S. Open where they play at the U.S. Open? They climbed up the aliens in what was that? In Flushing.
Yeah,
I think in Men in Black they go to New York.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I honestly do not remember that movie. So, but you're probably right. That's why my wife loves. My wife's a big Will Smith fan, so I hear about that movie all the time. And I'm looking at it my eyes glaze over. Am I supposed to know what's up with this? But yeah, I think in my basketball viewing world, he is. I don't know if he's fully crossed over yet for the average fan. But it's coming. It's 100. I mean, when you see he had some Jamal Crawford highlight yesterday coming up the court, he is the definition of an attraction. It's going with the expectation of seeing something that you have never seen before or seems like an anomaly, right? That's who he is, and it's different than going to see, Bol or George Murasan or whatever it is.
Boban, right? Yeah.
We're like, oh yeah, man, these guys are kind of freak of nature type situation, but the game isn't there to back it up, right? This dude is he's hitting on both. He's checking both of those boxes. So I think it's just a matter of time before that becomes it. I think from the NBA side, what they can do is start to make sure that the key matchups are all on national television.
Flex them in.
Yeah,
yep.
Even I know they were trying to broadcast Cooper Flagg's first game, and it was great that Wemby got to put on the show, but I don't see him as his contemporary or rival yet. It's way too early for that. The guys to me are Giannis and Jokic. Every single Giannis and Jokic game versus, I think those three, if any of them play each other, it should be on national television.
I'll throw another team in. Chet and OKC. Not that Chet is his rival, but they do have some bad blood, or they do have story there. OKC's they're on the throne right now.
Yeah, I would throw OKC in there, but I'm just talking about from an individual perspective. I think Chet is a very good player, but I'm I saw Giannis and I've seen Giannis play Wemby the last couple of years. And that's why I never believed that Giannis would ever want to go to San Antonio. If anyone that knows and can, even an outsider can see Giannis's personality, he wants to kill dudes he considers rivals. They're playing when they're playing the Spurs. It's obvious he's oh, people say this dude is going to be better than me. I'm gonna show him I'm that motherfucker, not him, right?
Yeah.
And that's what people want to see. They want that. If anyone that saw that, you want to bottle that. You got these two freaks of nature that are competitive as hell. You got that screw loose, right? Which all these guys that are great have.
Yep.
and they want to go at each other. Like, put that on television and hype it to hell and tell everyone, unless these dudes are actually hurt, they are playing in this game, and set that up. And stop using Denver as it was always like Denver and Utah, like the tail end of like these road trips or whatever, because at least for these players, like we want to see Giannis versus Jokic, and we want to see Jokic versus
day off on both sides. Yeah. Make sure.
Those three, like if you've got those, you're going to get a good game. And that's what I would do if I were them.
Well, I can't wait for all of the games for the rest of the season to be flexed into national TV, because what you say happens.
No,
that's true.
Hey man, working in the high level at the league office would be a dream job one day. So maybe people do believe you on that. But
I think you're right, man. I think you're right. Every Wemby game that has like one of those matchups has to be on national TV, and not just on TV, but getting everyone to build it up in a way that everybody's watching.
It should be obviously, I don't know if they're trying to play favorites already, but it should be the NBC game. Like, it should be those should just be the Tuesday games, or whatever, when they start going to the weekends, the Saturday and Sunday games. Like, that's the win right there. And mainly because those other two are like going to be like, oh, everybody's hyping this dude. Like, I'm that dude. Like, I am that guy. I am like, Jokic is like, I'm 3-time MVP. Like, what are you talking about? You better come here and take the crown. And Giannis is like, I'm 2-time MVP and champ and whatever else, and I should have more MVPs than I have now. That's the way he's thinking about it. And honestly, if Joel wasn't hurt, I would throw him in there too. But I can't. If I am investing in marketing something, I'm not relying on that. Mm-hmm. Those other three, yeah.
Nate Jones, Move Insoles. It was good to see Dame out there getting shots up before the games.
He's locked in, man. He is. I was just with him yesterday. He's locked in, and I'm excited for him to come back. Like, honestly, seeing the advancements of modern medicine, especially if you're a person that is locked in. Like, he's been, since 3 weeks post-op, he's been 6 days a week. When he goes on vacation, he takes his PT with him. He's just like, it's almost like, I think for the guys that have a screw loose like that, and I say that in a good way, like they're that competitive and they care that much. Having another mountain to climb is the best, like at this point in his career, is the best thing that could have happened to him. It's almost like a blessing in disguise. Like, you're not to say that he had let the foot off the gas to begin with, but now he's like in a place of, oh, people don't believe I can come back and be good.
Yeah, he's got a new chip on his shoulder. He's renewed.
They really don't think I can come back and be good. Like, that is the motivating factor for him. So we'll see what happens.
Anything you want to say on your way out here?
I have a startup in the insole space. We have athletic performance insoles, really market to all those youth athletes out there, but we're also across all the professional sports. It's called Move Insoles. We're at Move Insoles, MOVE, across all of social media and YouTube. We're also in 350 Dick's Sporting Goods now. We have a store locator on our site, move.one. Check us out. Hit me up on Twitter at Jones on the NBA if you got any questions, but I'm trying to sell a lot of those things. So hit me up, man.
Appreciate you joining us. This was really fun. We'll do it again soon with some new music.
Yeah, sounds good, man.
Thanks.
Later. Man. I'm coming out to the Fiends music next time.
Yes, you are.